Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown run.
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. I'm Randy Lee alongside Scott Hardy, and we'll be with you until 9 this morning. And, Scott, high school football right around the corner. We'll be talking a lot about that. Recruiting's really picking up. But SEC Media Days went down this week, and there's a lot of storylines around that. So we'll start there and probably stay there a majority of the program today. I'm just glad that college football and football in general is right around the corner.
Yeah, especially for Auburn fans and the Auburn program. I think the best thing that could happen for them is for the season to get started, to get as far away as possible from the off-season, we'll say shenanigans that took place. But it was a whirlwind week. I didn't get to watch like I normally would. I saw a couple of things pop up, but a lot of the conversation was about Auburn and Harson's comments and, you know, what the future of the program looks like. Well,
We'll start with Harson's comments, and we'll take your phone calls this morning throughout the program, 256-234-6221. But he started pretty bold. Came out and said that, you know, some people within the program or the people that support the program came after him and they weren't successful, and we're moving on. And I thought he was direct with his comments, as he normally is. I'll start there and just get your vibe on this. But, you know, I've never wavered from saying when he's in front of a camera, or would I go to battle with this guy? Do I think he can coach? I have never once wavered from that. And I don't think you have either. I mean, when a mic's in front of him, he can deliver. He looks the part. Kind of got that gruff demeanor about him that kind of resembles a great football coach. But I'll start with that. You know, that only goes so far, but it is something. And in events like this, he really stands out, to say the least.
Yeah, I think that he's someone who has great leadership skills, and as a football mind, I think he's very equipped to do what the job requires. But it's the peripheral things that I think he was unaware of, and that's partially his fault. A lot of it's his fault that I don't think he actually really had a full understanding of, A, what the expectations were, and B, what the power dynamic was at the university. So with that, though, I do think that his comments when he initially came out and said, you know, there were people who didn't, many of you probably didn't think that I would be here. And that's fine, but we went through what we did, and I think that it's made us stronger. And from I saw a tweet that you liked yesterday about, you know, basically talking about negativity, and now those people aren't on the team anymore, so we're not having to deal with that. And so I do think that as a cleaning up of the program and getting some of those guys away, yeah, it probably is good. And I mean, truthfully, again, we keep talking about it, but the guy was 6-2. And then the wheels fell off there. So I think his ability to coach is not the issue. It was once things started to go bad, then it was Dorn's theory, and just everything continued to happen. But I think the offseason has shaped him. Whatever happens with his future, nothing could be as worse as what he faced there. So I think that makes men successful on the field a lot easier.
Well, we'll stay right here, and you know, I'm just going to throw something at you and get your take on this. But, you know, the one thing that I've started learning a lot more about coaches today, though, that I don't think that you dealt with 20 years ago, and I definitely don't think you dealt with 50 years ago, is I think there's almost a sense of being able to deliver the talk, the culture talk, the overall feel of the program, the what we are inside these walls talk, and hard working. And after a while, you know, it sounds good. But then you wake up and you go, hold up now. He sounds good saying it, but is that really how it is? And, you know, I'm hoping that that is how it is with Auburn, but I even see it way down in the high school ranks now. I mean, you've got these guys, man. You put a mic in front of them, they are dynamic. They're awesome. You want to have it in front of them as much as possible. But you don't know how much there really is and behind the scenes that's going that way, because there's a lot of chatter, and these guys can get emotional. And they don't seem emotional in front of a mic, but boy, behind the scenes, they're extra emotional. Don't have that old school coach feel where maybe I don't want a mic in front of him that much, but he's consistent and he's somebody that I can count on. And I don't know. I'm all over the map with Brian Harsin because I want to buy into what he's saying so very badly. But then I look at the overall state of the program and I go, I think we're okay, but I'm not worried how we're going to be in the coming years compared to our competition and all of those things that go along with recruiting. And is he selling this to players, or do we have to get on the field and start winning ball games? Just a lot going through my head now, mainly because I think he talks it so well, but can he perform?
Yeah, and again, all of this can be settled with what they do on the field, and it will be. I mean, I think that in terms of pivotal years for programs, there may not be a larger one than what Auburn faces in the fall, because we're talking about recruiting, but I think he's saying the right things. I think the staff is saying the right things, but they're having to combat the negative recruiting, which ultimately Auburn put themselves in this situation. Not necessarily him, but the program as a whole kind of put themselves in this situation. But they're not going to be able – I don't think they're going to continue to see people sign. The guys that they had, those are going to be Auburn guys anyway. But as the season progresses – if Auburn starts out 2-3 or even 3-2, it gives more ammunition for opposing coaches to say, he's not going to be here. Why would you want to make that decision? Let's see how the season unfolds, what's going to happen in the offseason. And it's putting more pressure on what is the hardest job in the country. And it's because, and I was making this reference to my father-in-law the other day, that Auburn thinks that they're driving a Ferrari, but they're driving a Volkswagen. And there's nothing wrong with the Volkswagen. But if your expectation is of a Ferrari, then you're going to be disappointed. And I think that sums up where we are as a program. We have our highs, and they're great. But when it's not good, it's not. And so we're kind of mediocre. And as you continue to see more and more talent being flushed into Texas, and what you're going to see with Brian Kelly at LSU, our top four rivals, Georgia, Alabama, A&M, and LSU, we're not on their level right now from a talent level or recruitment level or coaching level for that matter. So I think that Auburn finds themselves in a very unique position heading into the fall, and the state of the program kind of relies on what happens this upcoming football season.
Yeah, because we got to have players, and it could take some key transfers to get this thing turned. But I think we've got, and we'll talk about that, I think we've got a chance to have a pretty good football team this year. I think some pieces are there if the quarterback play can be good and the offensive line can play up to a standard that's slightly better than what we've seen in years past. This could be a very solid football team, and I think the rest of the SEC, including Alabama, how much better are they this year? When they went on the road in the SEC last year, they struggled mightily. They did win 2 of them, lost the one at Texas A&M, but a 4 overtime game against Auburn, a game against Florida where they did everything but lose it. That's an Alabama team that didn't run away from everyone on their schedule last year. And, yes, they're very talented, but we'll see. I don't know if they're closing the gap. And then Georgia's extended the gap from us and others, it feels like, and then that seems to be the case moving forward. But it all comes down to what you just said there. It all comes down to recruiting for me. I can live with a 7-5 season for sure. I can probably live with a 6-6 season if the sense of the recruiting is getting better. And we will run down the top 25 recruits here in the state of Alabama in upcoming segments and kind of fill you in on where all of those guys are going, Scott. And a lot of them are not staying in the state of Alabama. They're going outside of the state and already committed to go outside of the state. So we'll talk about that. But I did want to give down the predictions. If you haven't seen the predictions from the SEC media this week, the SEC East had Georgia 1, Kentucky 2, Tennessee 3, Florida 4, South Carolina 5, Missouri 6, and Vandy, of course, coming in dead last at 7. on the west, whoever gave Andy that one vote, by the way, deserves to be kicked out of the media. That's a joke in itself. But on the west, it's Alabama, of course, way ahead of everyone else. 177 votes for Alabama, only 3 for Texas A&M that comes in 2. Arkansas 3, Ole Miss 4, LSU 5, Mississippi State 6, Auburn 7. Now Auburn baseball was picked right there and had a great season. And can that happen? Maybe so. But you know, a lot of darts being thrown at Auburn fans and Auburn faithful and Auburn boosters that maybe set up a coup for Brian Harsin during the offseason. I think more than anything, though, it was the recruiting finish and then this expectation that not only the media has, but maybe the Auburn faithful for the most part has this expectation too, and it's unacceptable for a lot of Auburn folks.
Yeah, and when I make these comments about, you know, Auburn being an 8-win team my whole life and those types of things, that's not to say that the program can't get to that point. But typically they haven't been able to do it consistently. So that's where Auburn is. And every 4 to 5 years, so basically every recruiting class typically has an opportunity to make a play in an SEC championship, which is, if you're Auburn, that's not the worst thing. So I think if the expectations were just minimally, it could change a lot of the disappointment that we typically see. But as it relates to the boosters and things, I've tried to change my opinion on it a little bit, solely on the fact that, you know, if I run a business and I'm the person that's and I'm an investor and I'm the person who's funding you to be able to do what you want to do, I'm going to have a seat at the table, and my direction or my input is warranted. Now, whether you go with it or not, that's fine, but if I'm one of the big players and you want my money, you kind of got to deal with what's going on. But we've never been in a situation where Auburn had somebody. Pat Dye was this way, but he kind of fell into that same realm of leadership that we see now. So it's just Auburn's a very polarizing program, and specifically football, not the entire state of the program, because as an athletic department, doing pretty dang good.
Really
doing
are,
pretty dang
yes.
good. So it puts more pressure on football when you see the success that your 2 other larger sports and then some of your secondary sports are having. That just puts more pressure.
256-234-6221 is our phone number. Love to hear from you this morning. We're going to talk high school sports when we come back. We'll run down some recruits, run down some schedules of interest around here, Scott, and give some of our feel for what's going on in the local area. It's also a changeover of regions. So some of the key regions in the state and some of these programs that have either gone up or come down, we'll talk about those coming back as well. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
These rankings roll all over the place. Depends on which outlets that you check out there, but I always like to check these out because, you know, I say our bread's buttered in high school sports here on this program, and it has been for 15-plus years. We're proud of our AHSA radio network affiliation and all that brings here in the state, and looking forward to a great high school football season coming up. We'll have our scoreboard show, which will be simulcasted on 20-plus radio stations throughout the state on Friday nights from 10 to 12, and you can also check it out right here on WOTM all throughout the state on television. Jeremy Jeffcoat, JJ here, does a tremendous job of leading the charge, and it's been something that we've been proud of, and it's continued to grow in the state. So if you're a local radio affiliate out there that would be interested in carrying the broadcast of the high school scoreboard show, please let us know. You may already have someone in that area where we don't need to step on toes, but for the most part, we have full state coverage and maybe some openings, so reach out to us. But, Scott, a lot of these players we hear for years and years before they become the top-rated recruit during their senior season, but they do move all over the place in how they're ranked. And I guess the good thing, and I'll start there, the good thing about the state of Alabama this year is there's as many 4 and 5 stars on this list and potential 4 and 5 stars in the state of Alabama as any other year that I can remember.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at, I think we went through, there's 20-ish 4 and 5 stars, and with the possibility of there maybe being, you know, upwards of 25. And so that'd be double for sure, almost triple in certain years as it relates to the 4 and 5 stars in the state. So we've been talking about it for a while now, but this is the best class we've seen in quite some time. We'll
start with number 25. There'll be a few great players outside of the 25th ranked. I do see the 26, so I will start there because he's going to a college of interest to me, and that's Wake Forest, and that's Drew Pickett from Russell County. Russell County's building a program. You know, they've been a program in baseball with Erasmus, and y'all dealt with them when you were in high school. We didn't see quite as much of them when I was, but they built a program that was as good as any in the state and sent a lot of guys to the pros. But now they're trying to do the same thing in football, and they're in a hotbed when it comes to football. They're in an area where you can draw in a lot of players. Now, you can say, what do you mean, Randy? You can recruit players? Hey, look, when you're in a high school that's got a large population around you, they can pick where they want to come to school. You may not want me to say that, but that's the reality of the state of high school athletics. And Russell County, when they're winning in sports, buddy, they can build something there. And I'll start with number 26 ranked recruit there because he is one of those Russell County guys.
Yeah, and there's a lot of advantage, as you said, where they are. You have the Lee County area, Russell County, and then you could dip into Columbus a little bit. So, I mean, the talent level is immense, and just hotbed is the correct word. So, for Wake Forest to get that type of player, I mean, 26th ranked player in Alabama is pretty strong, even regardless of where they're going.
Yeah, a high 3-star ranking, so probably one of those that Scott was talking about that has a chance to move to a 4-star. Vyson Lang from Pike Road, 100% committed to Arkansas, is the 25th ranked recruit in the state. He's a 3-star, 6'5", 330-pound offensive tackle. Arkansas, you're about to see the next 3 on this list. 25, 24, and 23rd ranked players in the state of Alabama already committed to Arkansas. Scott, that's a great get for Arkansas right there in the state.
Yeah, and I mentioned those other 4 programs leading into this segment, but the Arkansas Razorbacks are a team to watch too because they're recruiting very well.
The number 24th rated player in the state's from Pinson Valley, TJ Metcalf. He's also a 3-star. He's 6'1", 185 pounds, plays safety. Again, Arkansas right there with their logo beside him. The 23rd ranked player in the state of Alabama in the upcoming high school class, Dallas Young from Gardendale. 5'11 and a half, 185-pound cornerback. 185-pound cornerback, 17, 18 years old, tells you that he's a physical player there at Gardendale. Right barely below being a 4-star, a high 3-star, has Arkansas right there. Anniston High School's back in the mix, Scott, putting a lot of talent into the SEC. When I was coming through school, they put as much talent as any other school in the state into the SEC. And Raquez McElderry is from Anniston. He's 6'3", 340 pounds, interior offensive lineman, so more than likely a guard. 3-star, committed to Alabama, though. And when Alabama commits you and you're only a 3-star, tells you what kind of – you can about count on him being a 4-star very soon.
Yeah, the proverbial Bama bump will more than likely be in play there.
But he's the 22nd ranked recruit in the state. Auburn comes in, their first commitment in the top 25 here in the state of Alabama is Braden Joyner. 4-star, 6'1", 330-pounder. So there's 21 4 and 5 stars here in the state of Alabama this year, and this is by 24/7. He's also an interior offensive lineman, so probably a guard at 6'1", 330, committed to Auburn University. The number 20th ranked recruit in the state's Carmelo Overton. He's from Carroll Ozark, a linebacker, 6 foot, 200 pounds. Right now on this listing, currently not available for who he is committed to, so that is an open and probably one that I'm sure Auburn and others would really value. Dakari Nelson from Selma High School, Selma, Alabama, 6'3", 203-pound. A lot of length there to play a safety position, a 4-star, and you're about to see a lot of this, Scott. Schools around the country know what type of talent Alabama's putting out year in and year out. Penn State comes into the state and picks up this 4-star.
Yeah, and you ask, why would a kid not want to go to somewhere a little bit closer? Well, one, the amount of attention, as you said, that these kids are getting, some of these people have never been out of the state, and that's somewhat of an appeal to some of these guys who feel, especially for coming from an area that may not be the most financially prosperous, gets you a chance to get out. But you're right, more and more schools outside of the SEC are starting to make their way down to Alabama.
They are, and they're normally led by a coach that understands this state. James Franklin has always recruited this state extremely well. You saw Mario Cristobal when he was even at Oregon come into this state and really recruit it well. So, when you get these coaches that are moving all over the country, and of course, why would you not want someone with SEC ties to lead your program at this point? With all of the success the SEC's had on the national level, and of course you would. And I'll say this, and we're up against a break. We'll come back and we'll run down the rest of these top 25 recruits for the state. But you can't convince me that a 3-star in the state of Alabama and a 3-star in one of those northern states are equal. They're not. Night in and night out, what they're seeing on the football field and what they're having to compete against is not of equal value to what you see up in the northern half and even the western half of the United States. And that is proving to be right when you look at what happens on Saturdays. So I think we've got a lot of 3-stars here in this state that a lot of colleges understand that it's probably a good idea for us to go down south. And look, I'm more of a proponent for high school athletics than I am anything. And anybody that gets an opportunity to go and better themselves at another college based off of the success of high school football here in this state, I'm all for. So let's keep making it better. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Growing your business isn't just one thing. It's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Columbiana Tractor presents the world's largest deer expo, August 12th through 14th, BJCC. 11 hunt giveaways, the Turtle Man, the Aspirin Buster Frank Addington, Eddie Salter, Big Buck Contest, BHA Bow Competition, Cornhole Tournament, Trout Pond, and Barney Fife. WorldDeerExpo.com, August 12th through 14th, BJCC.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
When the Lake Martin area wants country, it turns to Kalijah Country 97.5. Lake Martin's best country.
Goes like one margarita, two margarita, three margarita shot. And if the house just keeps on winning, I got a wild card up my sleeve. I wish grandpa's never died.
Lake Martin's best country is on Kalijah Country 97.5.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. We thought it'd be a good idea to run down the top 25 recruits here in the state and give you an idea on where they're going, because I think that does tell everyone out there how good high school football has become here in this state, Scott. And, you know, there's old-timers, and I'm becoming an old-timer because I was in high school and played ball here in this state 25-plus years ago. We all thought that football was good here, but I started noticing what Hoover was doing and talking to other coaches in the state, and they would say, look, you either raise your level or they run by you. And, you know, what we've seen, Scott, is a lot of teams raise their level and get better facilities, get better at what they do in the offseason, get better in the weight room, get better coaches. Coaches needing to be better, they get run out of the gym. They get run out of town as well as if they can't win football games. So, I just feel like the overall product's as good as it's ever been here in this state.
Yeah, and you know, I've always 10 years ago I thought it couldn't get any better than what it was, and now I mean we're talking about 3 stars and those guys. I mean, part of it is just because there's some guys that are just that much better than you, and that's the only thing preventing you from being a 4-star is that there's just so supremely talented in this year's class particularly. But you're right, and as you go down this list, you look at where these players are going, and you have an Alabama, a Georgia, a Penn State, a Clemson. 3 of those teams are teams that have won a national championship within the 5 years. 2 of them are the top 2 programs in the country. So we're not only just going to college, they're going to the best programs.
They are, and you know, our smaller schools here in this state are winning football games. And I think that's a good thing because I'm about to run down 18 through 1, and when I run down 18 through 1, you're going to see a lot of schools outside of the state of Alabama that's in the mix on these, and none are those top 3 or 4 teams that are smaller schools here in the state, but we're still winning. So that tells you outside of this top 25, there's a lot of players that UAB and Samford and Troy and South Alabama's getting their hands on, and they're winning a lot of football games with those guys, and that's a good thing. And I think the stronger, especially the discrepancy in talent that you're seeing at the top of college football, I think it's important that those guys have a place to play and they have a product to put out there on the field, and I think that is the case here in the state of Alabama. Number 18th ranked recruit in the states from Alabama Christian in Montgomery is Avery Stewart's committed to Kentucky, 6'2", 174-pound safety. The 17th ranked player in this class is Sylvester Smith, Munford High School, 5'11", 195-pound 4-star, committed to Tennessee. He'll play safety. You can see safety positions really strong this year in the state. Jeremiah Cobb is the 16th ranked recruit in the state of Alabama. He's a big-time 4-star, 5'11", 186-pound speedster. Running back is committed to Auburn University. Number 15 is not committed yet, but is a heavy lean to Auburn and in a need program that Auburn has got to find a way to bust into, and that's Thompson High School, and that's Stanton Rammel. 6'7", 310-pound offensive tackle, 4-star, the number 20th ranked offensive tackle in the country. Heavy lean to Auburn, back to that Thompson connection. They have really fed that Alabama program well. Clemson and others are down here after that program also. Mark Freeman coaches teams up as well as just about anyone we've ever had in this state. He's within that top 10 of the best coaches that I've been able to cover here in the state, and probably one of the top 5. So I'm a big proponent of Auburn jumping in there. And well, he's that good. He's won that many state championships, and he's built programs, and he's people find their way to his programs, and why would you not? Because I think he runs them clean. And if I was over in that area, I'd probably find my way to his program also. But Thompson High School and Rammel possibly coming to Auburn would be a great get.
Yeah, and as you said, it fills a need that Auburn desperately needs to address, and that's the offensive line. And no matter how talented you are at the skill positions, if you don't have people that can make way for those guys, then it's going to be tough. So it is good to see that not only is it an offensive lineman, but from the top program in the state.
Maybe the second best 7A program in the state right now is Phoenix City. They've won state championships, and they would hate for me to say that, but that's just the way of the world right now. So for Auburn to go to Phoenix City may be number 2. You got to be able to feed your program with schools that are close by, and Carmelo English is the 14th ranked prospect in the state of Alabama. He's playing there at Phoenix City, big-time speedster, 5'11", 175 pounds, has a Nix as a coach, so you know they want to throw it around a lot, and Carmelo English, a huge get for Auburn.
Yeah, and, I mean, they always have been able to produce some high-end speed guys, and that's no exception here with English. So, again, Auburn needs to make sure that they shore up their home base, and I would consider, Russell County in that area. That's a home base just like Lee County would be.
A lot of talent coming out of Eufaula, Alabama. Yanzi Pierre committed to Alabama, 6'4", 220-pound edge, big-time athlete, high 4-star, great get for Alabama. Hunter Osborne's a heavy lean to Alabama, not a commitment yet. Hewitt-Trussville High School, 6'3", 250-pound defensive lineman. Auburn's had some success over there at Hewitt-Trussville, but Alabama has as well, and that's a program feeding a lot of SEC schools right now.
Yeah, that Birmingham market is just, or area is just one that continues to produce and is the premier place for in the South for me for producing high school talent.
Tamarian Parker, another Phoenix City player that they're loaded this year. There's talent all over Thompson and Phoenix City. A good majority of these top 15 players are from those two programs. But Tamarian Parker is 6'4", 250 pounds. He's a defensive lineman committed to Penn State. So 2 of the top 25 players in the state of Alabama are currently committed to Penn State. Keldrick Falk, Highland Home, recent commitment for Florida State. 6'5", 240-pound defensive lineman, high 4-star. Auburn really would have loved to have gotten their hands on him, but Florida State comes into the state as they have many, many times over the years and picks up a good get in Keldrick Falk. Wilkin Formby, Northridge up in Tuscaloosa, an Alabama commitment, big offensive tackle, 6'7", 295-pounders, the 9th-ranked recruit in the state. Kelby Collins, another big Gardendale defensive lineman, 6'5", 280-pounder.
Time out. Just
yes.
Okay. Those two last heights and weights that you just listed, where are these kids coming from? Like I mean, when I was in school, we had some bigger kids, but I just look around and see some of these numbers. Every 5 to 7 years, you get more and more amazed at how big and how tall and how fast and how athletic these guys are getting. But those are NFL linemen already that you have in your program.
I think it's the workout program. I think it's nutrition. I think that it's education out there to the families and, even down to youth coaches. You can tell when you've got somebody special, and most communities, when they have their hands on someone that's special like this, they'll find a way to get them to the level that they need to get them to. And but we worked out a lot. You worked out a lot when you were in high school, but it wasn't a 12-month deal. And 7-on-7s and everything that goes with high school sports these days, it's changed so much. So I think you do. An 18-year-old today is nowhere near what an 18-year-old was 20 years ago. They're just they're a lot more groomed. They've been in situations that we would have never have dreamed of being in. I mean, I never have dreamed of going over to a 7-on-7 tournament in Atlanta that Cam Newton was putting on or something. I mean, that would have been the biggest. What are you talking about? I mean, that'd been the story of the decade. Now that's just another Saturday for some of these kids. So there is no comparison. I think that it's a great thing what we're doing for these kids, and I think that's the reason so many of these kids are getting to the level that they are. But that's a big one out there, possible for some programs in Kelby Collins at Gardendale. Christopher Vicina, Briarwood High School, big, tall, lumberjack of a quarterback, 6'4", 207 pounds at Briarwood, committed to Clemson. That was one that Auburn would have loved to have gotten a chance to get, but Dabo Swinney comes into the state. From here in the state, has a lot of connections in this state, and picks up that quarterback from Briarwood. Also picks up the 6th-ranked recruit in the state, in Peter Woods. That's a huge get for Clemson. Come down to the state of Alabama and go to Thompson High School of all places and get a 6'3", 270-pound defensive lineman to commit to Clemson. Huge get. First time we've seen Georgia in this top 25 in the state. A little surprised with that, Scott. The 5th-ranked recruit, Phoenix City's A.J. Harris, committed to Georgia, 6'1", 180-pound corner. Great secondary over there at Phoenix City. Now, we've got the top 4 here. 2 are committed to Alabama and 2 are uncommitted. And the 2 that are uncommitted are over in Montgomery. Who's going to end up with those 2 pieces to add on top of the already strong classes for many of these? We'll see. That's the big question mark to close out high school recruiting here in the state. The number 4 ranked recruit in the state is Jaquavius Russaw, Carver High School, 5-star. I said some of those others were 4 stars, all the way down to number 7 are all 5 stars for the state of Alabama. But Jaquavius Russaw, 6'2", 230-pounder from Carver High School. He's an edge, uncommitted so far. We all would love him, of course. Tony Mitchell commits to Alabama a few weeks back, 5-star safety, 6'2", 180-pounder, special player over at Thompson High School. Jaleel Hurley, 6'2", 170-pound cornerback from Florence High School, committed to Alabama, 5-star. James Smith, the top-rated recruit here in the state of Alabama, is a defensive lineman, 6'4", 310 pound. Good luck playing Carver this year. If you're an unfortunate being that has to line up on the offensive front, Scott, they are loaded. But another 5-star there at Carver, 6'4", 310 pounder, uncommitted, number 1 ranked recruit in the state. Number 2 in his position, number 13th ranked recruit overall in the country is James Smith. When we come back, maybe I'll get some of your thoughts on some of those players and your quick thoughts on high school football. Hope to catch up with Brett Pritchard here in the next segment. Not this upcoming segment, but the following segment, talk about Benjamin Russell, give you the schedule for our local Alexander City team, and talk maybe a little bit about a few of the players and new coach and Smitty Grider here at Benjamin Russell High School. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
You already know the power and reliability of a Mahindra tractor. Get ready to meet their ATV and UTV lines. Haul more and tow more. Do more. Reaching speeds up to 60 miles an hour. Models have a 12-inch ground clearance and the ability to haul up to 1,200 pounds. There's a Mahindra utility vehicle and a model specifically to get the job done. Test drive today at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. Serving Tallapoosa, Coosa, Clay, and Talladega counties. 256-392-3613.
Hi, I'm Scott Blake.
I'm Angie Richardson, and we are the loan team here at Movement Mortgage.
Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've gone through the process before,
Our mission is to help you move forward with the purchase of your future plans. Call me at 256-397-2771.
or call me at 256-794-1003.
Scott Blake, NMLS number 527945. Angie Richardson, NMLS number 216556. Movement Mortgage supports equal housing opportunity, NMLS number 39179. For licensing information, please visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Hey guys, this is Nate Paz with Airport Motors.
I'm Connor Branch with Fairway Auto Brokers in Opelika, Alabama.
And this is your first ever Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz.
That's right, Lake Martin. Airport Motors and Fairway Auto Brokers is teaming up for the very first Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz. Make sure to check out either website for the very best selection of pre-owned luxury trucks, SUVs, and sedans in East Alabama. Get pre-approved in minutes online and make sure to use the keyword Summer Blitz in the comments section for $500 off internet price. That's keyword Summer Blitz.
Castelluccio Fine Italian Dining in downtown Alexander City is rapidly becoming the region standard for Italian cuisine, as well as hand-cut filet mignon, fresh Gulf seafood, and the area's best Italian import wine selection. We offer true old-world charm with unmatched hospitality. Like Castelluccio Fine Dining on Facebook to keep up with daily lunch and dinner specials. Also new, we offer catering for your family and small business, so call and order. Castelluccio, downtown Alexander City, where the only thing that rivals the flavor is the dining experience.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense.
Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Scott, you get the last take on high school recruiting here in the state of Alabama and the state of high school football. We've already said it. It's about as good as I can remember.
Yeah, and I mean, we have the luxury of being able to cover these games on a week-in and week-out basis, and then traveling over to Auburn or Birmingham or Tuscaloosa to be able to cover these state championship games. But the talent is so immense right now, and it's going to be fun to see how these guys, we're having this conversation 3, 4, 5 years from now, how all this panned out. But during the break, I wanted to see a comparison between Alabama and Georgia and what their recruiting numbers looked like. Now, Alabama has 7 5-stars. Georgia only has 1. However, they have 38 4-stars, and almost 70% of them are already going somewhere. But a lot of those are the same thing here that you see in the state of Alabama. A lot of Alabama, Georgia, or Penn State, Clemson, Florida State. So the South is a hotbed, and I think that Alabama and Georgia are very comparable in terms of high school football and the amount of attention that they provide for it.
I don't do this consistently for a living day in and day out, so I can't put pen to paper to see, but there is no way that you can convince me from a population standpoint that the state of Alabama is not producing more top-tier athletes than anywhere else in the country.
Oh, per capita, yeah, for sure.
Per capita, when you're comparing Alabama to Florida, Georgia, Texas, California, when that's your comparison, and we're sitting here with, 6 million people in the state of Alabama, or am I high with that?
It's probably that's right.
So, if you're anywhere near numbers-wise where those other programs are, there is no comparison. And I think that I'm hoping this is not a one-off with the talent level in the state. I know it's one of the top that I've seen, but I get a sense that high school football, yes, the numbers are down, but the quality's up. And the reason I think part of the numbers are down is what's expected of these kids today. They're expected a lot of. Their time is a commitment. Their coach's time is a commitment. Whatever the coaches are paid, if you put pen to paper on what a coach gets paid and the amount of hours that they put in, they ain't making a lot of money per hour. You've got to be passionate. And they say, well, coaches are making $100,000 a year now, Randy, to coach high school football. Well, my gosh, what kind of value do you think they bring to that community and that school? A lot of times that high school football team feeds the rest of the programs within the school. You better get a good one. You want to struggle overall from a financial standpoint. Don't go get a good high school football coach. You'll figure out how to struggle mightily. So I can make that defense, but I think it's as good as I can remember here in the state of Alabama. And we got a phone call. We'll go to the line. Caller, you're on the Sports Blitz.
Hey, good morning. How y'all?
We're good. Glad to have you on the air.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be here. Boopsy Central High School.
Yeah, I hear you. Talk about that.
Hey, we're just excited. We're excited. I think we've got some really talented kids this year. Of course, Coach Nix does a great job and his staff. But I wanted to just throw out a little conversation there. We're talking about all these kids nowadays ranked, their stars and what have you. But, stop and think about the old days when the kids come through school. You didn't have that, but you had the unlimited amount of kids you could sign. I'm 68 years old, and the best pure athlete I ever saw come out of high school was David Palmer, the Deuce. He was unreal. He could do it all. And he did it all just about. I've often wondered sometimes why Coach Stallings didn't play him on defense, because he'd probably been tremendous over there too. But then I think about defensive linemen. Look at Quentin Williams a couple of years ago. And gosh knows, guys, y'all will certainly have to agree with this. Probably the best defensive lineman, the most dominating defensive lineman I've saw in the Southeastern Conference in I don't know, 40 years. Tracy Rocker was unblockable when he was over there with Dye. He was unreal. But I just wonder today if these camps, you go to all these camps and all these showcases, these kids don't get a lot more recognition. The competition level is so great now with travel ball and all these kind of things, and I just wonder if kids today how they would stack up years ago against guys. We had a guy from Phoenix City that I probably in my lifetime I don't think I've ever saw a more talented player than Woodrow Lowe was at Alabama. A lot of people don't even know about him, but when he came out of high school, he didn't weigh but 195 pounds. But when he got to Alabama, if he got his hands on you, you were going down. But I just wonder about that nowadays. These kids all get these stars and go to these camps. We've had kids here in Central and Phoenix City that go to these camps that they were really, really good football players on the football team, but they weren't outstanding. But when they go to these camps, all of a sudden they blow up with these rankings, and they immediately turn into superstars. So, what I'm trying to say, I guess, is I'm from the old days. I think the talent was there. Sure, they probably didn't have the facilities and the skill to work out like they do in the weight room and all now. But there were some pretty talented guys back in those old days.
Oh, yeah, and, hey, we appreciate the call, and we're going to talk about that. You know, Phoenix City's always produced talent. You know, I unfortunately had to grow up here in Elliott City, and had to play against Phoenix City in every sport, and a lot of times those games that we had against Phoenix City were for all the marbles. They were late in the playoffs, and so, you know, dealing with that, you get to love a community and respect a community on how much they care about their kids and athletics in general, and that's not changed about Phoenix City. I think, if anything, it's just taken a step up. And, you know, here's a couple of my responses, and then I'll kick it over to you, Scott, and let you respond when it comes to players. I think that the look of the player, the overall build, the natural talent of a player is no different than it was then. What's expected in the weight room and how hard you work players and how much you take players that are marginal athletes to a different level today is different than it was back then, and I think that it is because of what's expected out of them. But, you know, your point on size, I mean, Woodrow Lowe, 47 at Alabama. We just did this rundown of the top numbers leading into high school, and he was the one that we talked about that wore number 47 days out, and he was a special player that came out of Phoenix City and then coached for a long time over there in Phoenix City. But the guys that you bring up that don't get recognized in high school football are the ones that I love. They're not the camp guys. They're not the guys that go and they're 6'4", 285, 290 pounds that everybody wants. They're 5'11", 230 pounds, and they make 10 times more plays than the pretty player that you let off the bus first. Scott and I do a lot of broadcasts together. I always say, if I haven't called your name in 3 quarters, you're not a very good football player. I don't care what you're ranked. You're not a very good football player if I haven't called your name for 3 quarters and you play defensive line in 5 and 6A football. You're not it. But some players that don't look like that, I think of one that you and I called for 3 years, a three-year All-State player. He's about 5'9", 250 pounds, Tay Robinson. Have we had one better than him?
I mean,
in the last 20 years.
12 tackles a game, 4 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. I mean, that was every game he was getting you double-digit tackles.
And the opening play, whoever the poor center that was lined up on him on the first play of every single game. They had seen it on film, but they couldn't get prepared for how strong he was. And he made a 7 or 8 yard tackle behind the line of scrimmage 8 out of 10 regular season games from his sophomore year to his senior. He didn't have the height. He didn't have the size that the SEC wants. And it wouldn't have worked out for him in the SEC. So I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. What I am saying is these camps are worth something. They do get the diamonds in the rough that maybe haven't been at the right programs or worked enough. And they do weed out the ones that get high acclaim because they do perform out there on the field, but they don't have the measurables to mount up. But where he's calling from, Phoenix City,
I mean,
they get them where they got both over there.
When I was in school, I don't really recall how good they were in football. I'm sure they were, but it was baseball for my time, and, I mean, they were dominant. But I think about players that we've seen that, like somebody that comes to mind based on the conversation we just had from the caller, somebody like Tyree Gray, who I think may be he's one of the top 5 high school players that I've seen up close, and that's saying something based on the amount of people we call. Didn't go to an SEC school, had a good career with Murray State, and has played at some other colleges since. But somebody like that maybe doesn't look the part just getting off the bus, but on the field, I've never seen anybody like that.
It's the beauty of high school football. Kyle Caldwell, same way. You know, Kyle Caldwell, you went and watched him. He came off the bus. You say, hold up now. That guy wearing number 4 right there, that's who you're telling me is the best football player in this state in his class. Yeah, it's exactly who I'm telling you. And if you'll sit around and you wait about 20 minutes, you'll agree with me. And I don't care if he's up against All-Stars or whatever. You and I and Brett called a North-South All-Star game that he played in. He made 400 plays there that nobody else on the field, and he was, 5'8", 150 pounds. And then he went on to West Alabama, and now he's in the Hall of Fame there at West Alabama and almost won what was equivalent to the Heisman there at West Alabama. But that is the beauty of high school sports. I think that you don't necessarily have to have the measurables, and I think that's what the caller was saying that he appreciates about high school sports as well, is that's the case. We'll go ahead and take another break. When we come back, I did want to run down the Benjamin Russell schedule for the upcoming year and talk real briefly about a few of the players and the new head coach that we have here in Alexander City and Smitty Grider. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau tri-tunes, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City. Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry?
Fast, fresh, and friendly. That's the Allen Brew Market mission to our customers on the go. Allen Brew Markets of Talladega County fuel your vehicle and you with the best coffee, drinks, snacks, and food, so you can get your day on the fast track. Allen Brew Markets are always convenient with Sylacauga locations on Main Avenue, Highway 280, and Old Birmingham Highway. Allen Brew Markets has everything for the family on the go, and we're always brewing up great specials. Fast, fresh, and friendly. Our guarantee to you.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us at Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Why is Sarah Automotive Group on Highway 280 in Sylacauga the place for the best deals on your new ride? 3 compelling reasons. 1. With 3 full new car dealers on one lot, you get the best in comparison and incentives on Fords, Hondas, and Nissans. Unmatched selection. 2. Sarah pays over market value for your trade to maintain East Central Alabama's best pre-owned vehicle selection and sale. And 3. The Sarah Automotive price won't be beat and delivers lower payments and huge value on your next buy. Shop online or on Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, you're on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
We're good, Terry. Glad to have you on the air.
Good to be with y'all. Thank you for having me. Y'all were talking a little earlier in the show about the SEC Media Days. I know y'all moved on to other things, but I've come under a lot of criticism, Andy and Scott, because I'm kind of hard on Brian Harsin, and I don't like him, and I don't want him there, and I don't think he wants to be there down deep in my heart. I don't believe he does. He wasn't the best. He's just the first guy to say yes. And that's what people don't misunderstand. You know, I do think his lack of recruiting is what's going to get him fired eventually. I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn has a solid year this year, a decent year, because of all the guys returning. And you heard John Samuel Schenker say the other day, this team is more unified than any team he's ever been around. But the criticism I come under, I don't think it's fair, because there's nothing wrong with wanting the best for your program. And I don't believe Brian Harsin's the best. Now, was Gus Malzahn the best? No. But I will say this about Gus Malzahn. If he had kept doing what he was doing in year one, he would have been more successful. But he got obsessed, and his ego got out of control. He started, getting what he wanted, not what he needed. And that's what I told people. Because what he needed, was somebody like Nick Marshall who could bail him out. And he kept recruiting guys like Jared Stunham and Bo Nix who couldn't do that. They were athletic, but not athletic enough for that offense. And I just can't understand why anybody has any optimism. And why they pick last in the West, you know why they're picked last? Because people don't respect him. And just watch is all he said. He said the other day, just watch. Well, I watch, and all I've seen is a bunch of guys picking last in the West. So I'm watching, and it's imperative he gets off to a 5-0 start. It really is. It's so important.
I think that's where a lot of people are, Terry, is the need for a strong start, not only in recruiting, but for the mentality of the program as a whole is as important as it's ever been at Auburn. If this coaching staff hangs in there and this program turns it around under Brian Harsin, I think we'll know that probably at Penn State.
More important than a strong start, I think a strong finish, because remember something. They were 6-2 last year, and the wheels fell off.
Oh, I know it. And
that
we're
25-point lead blown at home to Mississippi State still bothers me, and it will bother me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, well on their way to 7-2. That's right. I mean, it was an odd dynamic of what happened last year, and I don't think I can be explained exactly how it all went down. Other than the end of the season, Bo Nix getting hurt and T.J. Finley being the only option that we had after that, we got what we deserved there.
Yeah, and does anybody really believe T.J. Finley is going to be the quarterback? I can't believe Brian Harsin would rest his future on the shoulders of T.J. Finley. I've seen nothing out of him. He's had chances at LSU and Auburn. He just doesn't have it. I mean, I see a coaching future for that kid. Great kid.
Yeah, seems like, players like to play with him, and I watch the way that they interact with him on the sideline and how up he is. I agree with you, Terry. I think.
Andy, do you agree with what I said a minute ago, that he wasn't the best? Brian Harsin's not the best. He just first got to say yes.
Well, I think that he was Allen Green's guy, and I think Allen Green put his foot down and, yes, probably was listening to advice, but made the decision. And I think at the end of the day, it's the two of them are going to go hand in hand. If it works out for Brian Harsin, overall it's going to work out for Allen Green. Nobody knock what Allen Green's doing with this athletic department other than football. Terry, I think you would agree that in my lifetime, we may not have been as strong overall as we are right now, minus the football. And Allen Green's got a lot to do with that, so I'm not knocking him when it comes to that.
Yeah, he's certainly an upgrade from that jack-o'-lantern we had before. So, Jay Jacobs. So, just ridiculous. He was the worst athletic director ever. And I always said that when Jay Jacobs resigned, he ought to go out to get a job with Las Vegas for Jeff Dunham, because he's used to working with people. He's got his hand in his back or in his butt, making sure he says and does the right thing. So,
Terry, we like your phone call.
I saw a comment yesterday about Scott Strickland. If something happens to Allen Green, maybe be a candidate. I hope that's the case. I don't know if he would leave Florida for Auburn, but hey, we'll see. And it's, you got Scott Etheridge out there, I think a former player. I know I sound like I'm putting the cart before the horse a little bit, but I just believe this is going to end in disaster. And far be for me to say it, but I think everybody knows it's true. They may have a solid year this year and a decent year, and then the people's expectations are going to get raised. And then because of his lack of recruitment, next year's going to be a 3-9 season.
I hope it's not the case. I think it is. What you're saying is the worries of the Auburn faithful that tend to look at glass half empty. And I think you're being realistic, and I think a lot of people say the same thing that you do, Terry. I'm hopeful that the way the transfer portal works out, that Auburn can piecemeal enough players, the same as what we saw with Gene Chizik when whatever he pulled off in 2010. It didn't work out after that, but he did go out there and pull it off then. And if there's ever a time to have to put together a team by going out there and finding pieces and plugging them into place to be solid, it's right now.
Well, ain't funny you mentioned I come under a lot of criticism under Chizik because I didn't like it when he got hired because I knew he was Pat Dye's quote-unquote boy. So, and I just didn't like it, and I knew where it was going to end, and it did end there at 3-9, and he lost the team. So that's why I didn't like it. Appreciate it, guys. Y'all guys have a great day.
Thank you, Terry. We appreciate your phone call. Always appreciate Terry. Terry is opinionated and not scared to say it, and that's what we like about our programs is it's an open airwaves. If you got an opinion, we want to hear it. 256-234-6221. A lot of them are podcasts now and radio shows, but we like to take this into the television world, and we know that we got a lot of you that watch us out there on Saturday morning. So if you have an opinion on what you heard during SEC Media Days, please call in and let us know. Second half of the show, we're going to talk a lot more about that. We'll have Luke Robinson coming up to give us his understanding of what Nick Saban and the Alabama players said over at SEC Media Day. We talked a lot about high school football in the first part of the program like we do each and every Saturday. So if you've got more comments or more questions when it comes to that, please let us know. 256-234-6221. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
At Glenn Smith in Opelika, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary. Check out these hot July offers on powerful full-size Chevy and GMC trucks. The Chevy Silverado discounted up to $6,500 off, or the GMC Sierra $5,000 off. Plus, get financing as low as 0% on several models. New inventory is arriving daily.
We have over 200 new and used vehicles on the ground or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Got another hour left with you on today's program. Luke, we got you on the air with us? Caller, you on the air?
Yeah, this is Coach Grider from Benjamin.
Oh, hey, Coach. I didn't realize it was you. I knew Luke was calling a little bit earlier, but you're a much better phone call than me having to talk to Luke Robinson.
I don't know about that. But,
so, Coach, I'm glad to have you on.
Talking to you guys this morning.
Glad to have you on here, and going to take advantage of having you here. If you can update us on how Alex City's been to you, how your arrival at Benjamin Russell's been so far.
Well, it's been awesome. Just everybody's welcomed me with open arms. They've been very supportive of what we're trying to do and offering any help that they can give us. Just really excited to be here. It's awesome to be in a place where everybody you meet's a former Wildcat, and totally on board with what we're doing at Benjamin Russell High School.
Coach Grider, we had a phone call from a caller that calls us most Saturdays from Phoenix City, and I know you know that area well, and you've been in the high school football game for as long as I've been watching it, 25-plus years. Can you give us your feel for 7-on-7s and all that goes on in the off season and how much different it is today than it was, say, 20-plus years ago when you were at Opelika?
Yeah, it's when I went to Opelika, all you could do in the summer was run and lift weights. You couldn't touch a football. So, we've gone from that to now basically practicing football all summer. So, that change has been both good and bad in my opinion. It's improved the game, obviously, because we work on it more and we do things like that. But it's also, it's put a lot more stress on coaches, on kids to be working all summer. It's very difficult on multiple sport athletes to try to balance the, different sports that they may be participating in. And, we don't really let kids be kids anymore. It's become a 12-month grind for them. And so, in that aspect, I don't think it's great, but it also has drastically improved the game with the advent of 7-on-7 tournaments and those kind of things. The passing game in high schools have surpassed even where the colleges were 10, 15 years ago. So, it's really changed the game.
Well, Coach, you're speaking about the 7-on-7s and the OTAs, and Benjamin Russell has been a part of several of those during the summer. Since your arrival, can you give us a little overview of how our guys have been able to compete during the summer and what we can maybe expect as we get ready for fall camp?
Well, we've competed well. We haven't been as good as we'd like to be, but given the circumstances, I think we've done extremely well. All three of our quarterbacks are baseball players, and so for pretty much the month of June, they weren't available to us. And so we started going to 7-on-7 tournaments with about 3 or 4 days' work with our quarterbacks. And we've improved tremendously since that point at the end of June to where we are now. Obviously, we've got some really good skill players on both sides of the ball. And it's just been a process of trying to develop them into the schemes that we're running. It's, obviously it's all new to them on both sides of the ball. So, it's been a growth process, but I've been really pleased with where we've gotten to at this point. Obviously, we wish we were a little bit further along, but, it's nothing we can control. So one thing we've talked to the kids about is just control the controllable, what we can control ourselves, and try to block out everything surrounding us that we have no control over. So, and I think the kids have done that. They bought into what we're doing. I think we're going to have a good football team. So I'm real pleased with where we are at this point.
Got Coach Smitty Grider from Benjamin Russell High School, and glad to say that, by the way, Coach. We're very proud to have you and your success here in Ellick City, and I will roll it over and bring up a question with that. You've been able to go out and bring in 2 great coordinators with you, and based on your experience here in this state, I think that's really helped you out because those guys come from a long line of coaching success, and if you'll just fill everybody in on who those 2 coordinators you brought in are.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to be able to get 2 guys this late in the game with the quality and background that they have. Greg Krager is our offensive coordinator. He comes to us. He was the head coach last year at Thomasville High School. He was the head coach at Milry. He was on Mark Freeman's state championship staff at Spanish Fort and was also an assistant with him at Thompson. So Greg is a great family man, Christian man. He is going to be not only a great football coach for us, but a great mentor for our kids, and an example for them. I'm really excited to get him. When I got the job, Mark Freeman called me and highly recommended Greg and put us together, and I'm really grateful for that because it's been a blessing having him. And our defensive coordinator is Jason Simmons. He also has state championship pedigree. He was on Keith Etheridge's staff at Oxford in, I believe, 2019 when they won the state championship. There was a kind of similar situation. Keith called me and recommended Jason. Jason's a native of Sylacauga and was really looking to get back in this area. And he's got elderly parents over there that he is going to take care of. And so it was just a great opportunity for him to come home. And again, it's a high quality coach, but also a high quality individual that'll be a great leader for our players. And man, I'm grateful to have him. And to have two guys with the background and experience that they have and be able to bring them in at this point in the year, hiring them in June, really just doesn't happen. And, circumstances lined up. God was favoring us and gave me the opportunity to hire them. And I couldn't be happier with having both of those guys on our staff.
Yes, sir. And so we're a little over a week or so from what is become a staple event here in Alex City, which is the quarterback club drawdown, Coach. And obviously that's a major portion of what allows our programs to have the resources that we need. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to promote that a little bit. Obviously the date's August the 2nd, but just a little bit from you on getting some people out for it.
Yeah, that's a huge fundraiser for our program. One thing that is really impressive about Benjamin Russell and Alex City is the money that's raised in the community through our booster organizations, and the drawdown is a big part of that. It's a great event as well, a great time to come out. Matter of fact, I was at the Lake Martin area realtor dinner the other night, and we're going to have the same steaks they cooked that night, and let me tell you something, they are incredible. So it's a great event to come out and enjoy the event, and at the same time support our program. People really don't realize how much it takes to run a football program, particularly. The cost of equipment is astronomical. It's upwards close to $1,000 when you start talking about uniforms, pads, helmets, practice gear to suit out one football player. And then on top of that, you talk about the logistics of travel, feeding the kids, all of those things that go into running a football program. We depend on those dollars. Gate receipts alone won't support a quality football program and give our kids the best resources to be able to compete. And so it's a big event. You can get your tickets from me or any of my coaches. We have them. Scott Hardy, our quarterback club president, he's got them. So, I encourage anybody in the community listening to purchase your ticket, come out and enjoy a great dinner and a great time, and also support our program.
One last question before we let you go, Coach. The two opening games of the season, Sylacauga, Central Clay, two great coaches on the opposite side that you know very, very well. Those are both rival games now in Alex City, much like when you were at Opelika. We used to look at the Opelika and Benjamin Russell game as the big one every year that we all look forward to. Now it's become, hopefully Sylacauga moving forward and Central Clay. So just wanted to give you a second to talk about those two great programs and how much fun we look forward to having them and playing them early in the season.
Yeah, those should be two great ball games for us. Coach Carter at Sylacauga was my offensive coordinator at Beauregard, and then he was the head coach after I left, won a state championship there. So, he and Coach Horn have won state championships. So, obviously they'll both be really well coached. It's great to have someone with, two teams with the proximity they have to us to give us a good rival game. They'll be great measuring sticks for where we are in our program and set us up for the season. I expect both games to be really competitive games. Obviously our kids are excited to play both teams, and I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Thank you, Coach Grider. Again, we're excited to have you here in Alex City, and anything the two of us can do, you make sure to let us know, okay?
I will. Thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you. That's Coach Smitty Grider, Benjamin Russell High School. Great overall record, and we're hoping that he brings all of that knowledge here to our school, and we have that moving forward. Scott, we'll go ahead and take a break. We're a little late on that one, but sure glad Coach Grider called in, and I'm sure we'll have to listen to Luke Robinson after this, talk about Alabama. And Nick Saban had some interesting comments this week, though, all jokes aside. He was really direct on NIL, and I'm sure Luke took that in and can pass that along out there. I thought there were some comments that were of interest to college football fans throughout the country. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
Okay, somebody's not wearing their seatbelt.
I don't wear seatbelts. Might wrinkle my shirt.
That's okay. I'm sure they can iron it before the funeral.
What funeral?
Yours. Almost 70% of people who die in car crashes aren't wearing a seatbelt.
Okay. There. You happy?
Just happy to be alive.
Seatbelts. It's hard to live without them. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours, Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
At Glenn Smith in Opelika, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary. Check out these Hot July offers on powerful full-size Chevy and GMC trucks. The Chevy Silverado discounted up to $6,500 off. Or the GMC Sierra $5,000 off. Plus, get financing as low as 0% on several models. New inventory is arriving daily.
We have over 200 new and used vehicles on the ground or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA. Now is the best time to sell your current home, as it's a seller's market, meaning that on average you can get up to 96% of your asking price. Who's the most aggressive and most experienced to help you sell your home?
Hi, I'm Rhonda Gaskins, broker Century 21 Lake Area Realty in the Lake Martin area. We are getting a 96% return on our listing price, the sales price in this area. Call me today and let me go to work for you. 256-749-3644.
L&G Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
GillsOpelika.info. Get pre-approved in minutes online at GillsOpelika.info for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Gills Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
We got a caller on the line as we head back into this next segment of Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Joseph, glad to have you with us.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing this morning?
We're good. Can't thank you enough for calling us. What you got on your mind this morning?
Well, yes, sir. Well, I'm first-time caller, and I'm going to tell you guys I really enjoyed your show, and I just normally sit back and listen and watch. But I'm an Auburn fan. I'm a big Auburn fan, and I just want to make a comment on the guy that called about the hate he had for Coach Harsin.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a question for all our Auburn fans. 1 year. Question. Can we just give the guy a chance to build our program? That's all we can ask for right now. I know we're up under pressure because what the team is doing across the state, and I'm not too far from Tuscaloosa. And I understand there's pressure. There's a lot of pressure because what Alabama is doing and our rivals, so Georgia. Can we just give the man a chance? Listen to the players, the SEC Media Days, and some of the guys. They love him. He's a hard-nosed coach, and I think we need a guy like that right now in our program. He has to win games. We know this, and it's a big year. We understand it, but let's give him a chance to build our program. I hate what happened to him in the offseason in February. That's something he did not need. I wish they never done it to this guy and his family. He didn't deserve that. And with the young men that stayed, that got behind him, that's what it's going to take to build this program. We had a few bad apples on the team, what I heard. Like I said, I don't know. But we lost those guys. But let's give this guy a chance to build our program. That's all I'm asking for because we need it right now. Because we're in a situation right now that Saban and Bama, they are what they are now. And people forget when Saban came to Tuscaloosa, he was not going to come to Alabama until Mal Moore gave him the keys to build that program. No trustee boards had got involved with this guy because he was not coming until he got the keys put in his hand to build that program. And now look where they are today. I just want us to kind of do the same thing. Let's step back and let this guy build a program. Just 1 year, guys. People forget the games that we lost weren't blowouts. We took Alabama to 4 overtimes. We could easily won those games. I'm just discouraged how we handle this as fans. I know everyone has their own opinion. I have no problem with that. But I just wish we just be patient with the coach. I like him. I like him a lot because he brings toughness to our program. For a guy that run decks with the players, and we never had a coach ever, as far as I know of, doing the thing we're doing with the players. Let's just give them a chance. That's all I have to say, guys. I'm not going to be here long. And War Eagles to y'all guys, and I really enjoy your show for a first-time caller. Let's just be patient with the coach. And I thank you for the call. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much, Joseph. And wanted to let Joseph. I didn't want to interrupt him at all because I felt like I got my dad there talking, because that is what the opposite end of the Auburn fan base thinks is exactly what Joseph said. You know, if you go hire somebody, give him a chance to do what he's paid to do, and don't interrupt the movement towards his vision of what he sees this program being. So Terry's on one side, and we appreciate Terry's comments, and Joseph's on the other. So appreciate his as well, and that's what our show is here for. 256-234-6221 is the phone number. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, you're on the Saturday Sports Countdown. Caller, you're on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing this morning?
We're good. Glad to have you on the air.
Yeah, this is James.
Glad to have you, James.
I'm going to tell you something. That last fellow that called, he put it all in one nutshell. That was so well delivered. You could tell he had some passion about it. He knew what he was talking about. And I just want to tell you something. If that's what we've got to have, is fans that believe in Auburn. It's not just believing in Auburn. It's supporting the coach we got. He's won everywhere he's been. He had a rocky year last year, but you know how all that goes. I can go back and say Tuberville did and Coach Dye did and all that. But that fella right there said it better than anybody. He said it right up there with Coach Jones. How I feel and how I think most Auburn people feel. If you feel differently, that's fine. I don't care. Terry can feel like he wants to. He's free and white and 21. So they used to say, excuse me, Scott. But anyway, I just think he did an excellent job of saying what we all want to happen and think. Give the man a chance. That's all I got today, guys. War Eagle.
War Eagle to you.
You and take care of your buddy over there. He needs some help every now and then. Hangs around Brett too much.
That's right, James.
Have a nice weekend. War Eagle.
War Eagle to you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Brett and I do ag each other on a little bit. But, hey, Joseph got a point. Give the man a chance. It is only year 2. Signs in recruiting are pointing, Scott, to better than I saw only 60 days ago. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it was vital that you started to see some movement coming from the recruiting trail. And I think the addition of Ike Hilliard has been phenomenal, not only what he can do on the field and what he's going to bring in that regard, but as a recruiter, that's what you need. And I think as a whole, we have good recruiters. So the former Auburn players that we have on staff are doing a great job. But as a fan base, those two callers, well, with Terry and Joseph, that represents Auburn as a whole for the most part. Like there's two extremes. There's never really kind of guys in the middle. You either all in or you're all out. And so I don't have a problem with that. That's what being a fan is about. That's what makes it what it is. But at the same time, what we saw the best of Auburn when success was happening in basketball, when they went on the great run of consecutive wins, and we saw the worst of Auburn when all of the things were happening off of the field with Coach Harsin. So you just hope for the best, and nobody's rooting for anybody to fail. Like even if you don't like somebody, it doesn't help the program to be unsuccessful. So, you know, just as somebody who has called Auburn mediocre for about 10 years, I'm going to say he has warranted the opportunity to try to get it in the right space.
Good point. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, you're on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hey, guys, it's Luke. How's it going?
Luke, glad to have you, buddy. And I brought it up, and we're going to take this one back there in the control room about 4 or 5 minutes over on this segment because I want to give Luke the opportunity to talk about Alabama at Media Days. And Nick Saban was very vocal on some comments throughout the week, wasn't he, Luke?
Yeah, he was. In fact, he seemed like he was in overall a pretty good mood. I'm a little shocked about that, I guess, because it seems like maybe he's just mellowed in his older age. I mean, he was not cantankerous really at all, and nobody really confronted him about the Jimbo thing, which I think that's the way to go for everybody. It's sort of old news now. Jimbo sort of seemed to back off a lot of his stuff too, even though everybody was expecting some sort of, I don't know, calamity coming from that again. It is very old news, and honestly, since then, the other video came out with the Texas A&M staffer talking about these are the guys in the skybox who are going to be, paying you money, et cetera, et cetera. Jimbo's really come out looking a little bit worse for wear on this, so I assume he did want it to let it pass on by. And not to mention one of his star players who was coming to media days also got a DUI with the gun possession and marijuana possession, so he had a lot of other fish to fry. The one thing Saban said that struck me as odd was talking about the in-state teams, and he said, "Look, I'm always for it, but we talked about this on the Locked On Bama podcast. We love Nick Saban as much as anybody, and he can basically do no wrong. All that's true, but in this particular case, if Nick Saban wanted to play some in-state teams, guess what? Alabama would play in-state teams. I just don't think it's probably not much on his front burner in terms of trying to give, the Troys, the Samfords, the UABs, Jacksonville State, Alabama State, whatever, just give them this golden opportunity because, look, you know how I feel about it, Randy. It doesn't matter to me if Alabama plays Mercer or Alabama plays Alabama State. Yes, I mean, it'd be fine with me if they did. But, see, I think Alabama's position is if they play Alabama State, if they play Samford, or if you play Alabama State, you got to play Samford. If you play Samford, you got to play Troy. If you play Troy, you got to play UAB, and on down the line. And I don't think Alabama wants to get in the posture of something like that. So that was the only thing I kind of took exception with what Nick Saban said. Overall, it was a pretty mundane SEC media days.
Well, I'm not sure where Chicago Bob has this line, but there may not be a more anticipated regular season game for Alabama than this A&M game, maybe outside of the Alabama LSU game that we saw a decade ago. But what are your thoughts? I know we're several weeks away, but just your thoughts on what that game is going to be for college football and what I think is going to be a skunk, a 52-6 type game. But what are your thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, I mean, right now, just looking at the rosters, looking at A&M's schedule, I don't think this is A&M's year, quote unquote. I think next year they should be a lot better. This ballyhooed class will have a year under their belt, but this particular season, they're coming in with a new quarterback too, because I mean, they lost their starting quarterback to Auburn. So even though they have Max Johnson, even though they've got Haynes King, I'm just not a big believer in any of those guys. So I feel like A&M's, they may come into Tuscaloosa with a couple of losses under their belt already. And if that's the case, it may take a little bit of the luster off the game, at least nationally. I think for Alabama itself, it's not going to take any luster off of it. I remember DeMarvin Leal, I think it was, actually had a tweet about how Will Anderson only had one tackle in the game against A&M last year. And, hey, look, there are a lot of people that I wouldn't mind, pointing a finger at and laughing a little bit, but Will Anderson's probably not the one guy to do it to.
Luke, one more question for you before we let you go this morning. You're overworking SEC Media Days. We've all had an opportunity to work it from time to time. Your thoughts overall of how the event went down and access that you had and Alabama's players and everything about Alabama during the media days this week?
Yeah, well, I was scheduled to go, and I didn't go because both my parents got COVID, and Austin was out of town, so we needed some Robinson representation over at Robinson Iron, and so I didn't go. But I talked to a lot of folks who did go, and it seemed like it was a pretty easy event. Now, I mean, parking's kind of a nightmare. Getting around Atlanta is not quite as easy as getting around Uber, but overall, I think everybody seemed to have a good time. I'm really looking forward to it. I love all the talk after the predictions. I mean, look, picking Alabama to win it and win the West and picking Georgia to win the East are super easy. Everything else was dramatic. I think Kentucky was finished predict to finish second, and that's what I chose. I think Kentucky's going to have a pretty good team. Then you look at, of course, Auburn's picked to finish last, and I know a lot of people are upset by that, but let me ask you guys this. Who would you put last? I mean, you going to put Mississippi State last? They bring back 17 starters. Are you going to put Ole Miss last? I mean, they had a great year last year. Yes, they lost to Alabama and Auburn, but they also beat a lot of good teams, and they've shown some promise, and Lane Kiffin has shown he's not going to be the flop some of us thought he might be. Are you going to put Arkansas last? They bring back a lot of talent, too. Bumper Poole's coming back. KJ Jefferson's coming back. And that team looks to be on an upward trajectory. Are you going to put A&M? I mean, most people have them second. Or are you going to put LSU? Most people think they have the third most talent in the league behind LSU and Alabama. Georgia and Alabama. So, I mean, somebody has to finish last. And if you had told me you're putting any one of those other teams, I can buy it. But I can also see the fact that they put Auburn last. I don't think it's a huge insult because I think it's Alabama and then really, you're throwing darts, hoping for the best because every single other team in the West, at least, seems to have a lot of questions.
3 through 7, just pick them. Throw them wherever you want to throw them. Arkansas's got a lot of the media behind them now, and they've semi-deserved it, but, Auburn beat that Arkansas team last year, and I'm not watching Arkansas play and think that they're anywhere near Alabama and Georgia or any of those top teams. So if you put Arkansas last, I'd say, yeah, it makes sense. So, again, I agree with you, Luke. I think that 3 through 7, who in the heck knows when you look at those teams which ones are much better than the other. I just think that there's a giant leap from 1 and 2 down to 3 through 7, and 2 even with Texas A&M with some of the new pieces that they'll put out there. Maybe they're a year away from being consistently there in the top 3. So it's the SEC West is up for grabs outside of that top spot, in my opinion.
No, and I agree with that. And one other thing that, when I was filling out my ballot, and I did still get to fill out a ballot, even though because I had the credentials to go, and I didn't get to go, but because I was credentialed, I was able to vote. And one of the things that came into play for me, at first I was going to have a hard time. I was like, look, I think I got to put Auburn, in the middle of the West. And then I started looking at it a little bit more because, and my reasoning for that was just like everybody else. When you count Auburn out, that's when, they seem to do a little better, right? Better than you think, or maybe sometimes even a lot better than you think. Well, I thought about the 3 times that has happened. You think about 2004, you think about 2010 and 2013. In 2004, in hindsight, we should have known Auburn was going to be a lot better than they were because, they brought back a lot of players, and they brought back a quarterback that was very well seasoned, 2 very good running backs, and then, of course, they had a great receiving core. They also had a pretty good offensive line. Then you go to 2010. I think the one reason Auburn may have been undersold, they weren't picked to finish last then, but I think one of the reasons they were undersold is because nobody knew anything about Cam Newton. Nobody really, he burst onto the scene, right? Then you have, in 2013, the same thing can be said for Nick Marshall. Once he was able to really clearly get the reins, it was Katie bar the door. And also, Auburn won every single close game outside of the national championship that year. So the difference this season and those seasons is once we got midway through the season on those other 3 seasons, and even before the season on Jason Campbell, Auburn had a quarterback. We've seen all these quarterbacks that Auburn's going to put out there this year. We've seen them all. We know what they have to offer. Even if though Zach Calzada was A&M, we know what he has to offer. Yes, he beat Alabama, and that's a feather in his cap. He also lost a lot of big games. We've seen T.J. Finley. Nobody on your show wants to have him as a starter. I guess the one guy we haven't seen, if you want to throw that argument in there, is Robbie Ashford, but I don't know many people that think he's going to be the starter. So I feel like that's going to be the biggest difference this time is that I'm not sure Auburn's got the quarterback play to make a big surprise move. That's the one thing that would keep me from ranking them in the middle of the SEC West.
Good points, Luke. We appreciate the phone call this morning, buddy. Have a good weekend, okay?
All right, guys, have a good one.
That's our friend Luke Robinson up against another break here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Brubaker Motors in Montgomery is the largest and fastest growing used car dealership in the River region. You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker. It's better at Brubaker.com.
Brubaker, 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 Brubaker.
You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker.
BREWBAKER. BREWBAKER.com.
It's better at Brubaker.com.
For almost 10 years, there's been the go-to place for tires and automotive repair, Right Tire. Right Tire sells all makes of tires for anyone's vehicle and anyone's budget, and with Right Tire, you always get the right prompt service with the right price. Right Tire also can handle all of your bumper-to-bumper automotive needs with certified brake service, alignment, oil changes, tune-ups, and so much more. So when you want tires and automotive done right, see Right Tire on West Fort Williams in the heart of Sylacauga. Right work, right price, every time.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours. Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
Columbiana Tractor presents the world's largest Deer Expo, August 12th through 14th, BJCC. 11 hunt giveaways, the Turtle Man, the Aspirin Buster Frank Addington, Eddie Salter, Big Buck Contest, DHA Bow Competition, Cornhole Tournament, Trout Pond, and Barney Fife. WorldDeerExpo.com, August 12th through 14th, BJCC.
Become a member of the Superior family. Superior GMC Cadillac, Superior Hyundai, or Superior Automotive Pre-Owned. Between our 3 dealers in East Central Alabama, we offer the superior selection and service for any buyer's needs. All with the personal touch of being locally family-owned and operated. Check out any of our dealers online, or our 3 great lots in Anniston on Quintard, or our pre-owned superstore in Pell City, and join the Superior family of value.
Only a couple of minutes here on this segment, Scott, so I'm going to take a chance to brag on you and Brett Pritchard more than I normally do. Coach Grider called in, talked about the quarterback club drawdown that we've got coming up. We also have another big fundraising event coming up a few weeks after that. And, buddy, if you put your hand in the air and say, I'm willing to help, you get all the opportunities that you want, don't you? And you and Brett, I joked with y'all this week, I don't know 2 people in my life that do more work for free than y'all do to try to help out. But I know you do it because you love it, and you do it because you know how important it is. So I'm giving you the chance to let everybody out there know, because you've been the president of our quarterback club for at least 4 or 5 years, how important this is for the program to raise these funds for the kids.
Oh, it's it's paramount that these fundraisers take place, and as Coach Grider said, there's so many other things that have to happen for a program to be successful, not just, the buses and food. There's uniforms, there's travel, there's whatever it may be, new equipment, all of those things that when you're asking why aren't we doing something that somebody else is doing? Well, it takes financial backing, and he is absolutely correct. Despite maybe some of the turbulent times, I'll use that word loosely, here within the program, the support has never wavered. And so that is a key component of having a successful program is having not only financial support but fan support, and that's something I'm very proud to say is that as a community we always step up to the plate to make sure our kids have the best.
Coach Greider's always got an open airwaves with us, but you and I didn't call and ask him to come on and talk about that this morning. He just did it because he wanted to, and I've heard you brag about his efforts out in the community so far and how important that is, and people have noticed, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. And as said earlier, I mean, with 2 days on the job, he was at a citywide event, and since that time, he's hit the ground running and been in a position to put a staff together, meet people within the community. And the thing that I'll say about him that I really think will make him successful here is that, not to say other people haven't, but he wants the job. Like, he wants this job. And so when you have that type of pride about the place that you're working and the commitment level that he's already displayed, you can't help but have success.
We'll go ahead and take another break here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? Then make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
At Russell Medical, our transitional care unit is a great alternative to nursing home care after a medical or surgical hospital stay. Transitional care increases strength and endurance through skilled nursing and therapy programs to promote a safe return home. Enjoy on-site therapy, private rooms, an activity center, and more. Call Russell Medical today to see if our transitional care unit is the right care for you.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce. Because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
We had a caller call in and ask where they can pick up a schedule of our local area high school football teams in the Lake Martin area and kind of surrounding. You will have those printed right here at Kalijah Country 97.5. Lake Broadcasting, John Kennedy and his crew do a tremendous job of putting that together on a poster, and they'll have those. I don't know exactly when. I don't want to jump out there and say an exact date, but they're the ones that get those out to the community, and I'm sure you could stop by here and grab one as well once that time comes. But they've got Auburn, Alabama, but also all of our local area high school teams on that poster, so that will be coming out. AHSFHS.org is the website that I go to more times than not throughout the season. That's the Alabama High School Football Historical Society. It's got historical knowledge on high school football and other sports here in the state all the way back to the start of the school's programs, and can give you all-state players and records against common opponents. And, I looked at it this morning. Benjamin Russell and Sylacauga have played 57 times. Benjamin Russell's 140, Sylacauga's 16, tied once. That type of knowledge is there. I don't know that knowledge off the top of my head. That's at the Alabama High School Football Historical Society. So if you're looking for schedules, or you want to know who's playing, or want to know who's in which region, that is as good a place as there ever will be to find some of that knowledge. Season tickets, Scott, I'll wait and let Brett Pritchard talk a little bit more about that. He's been heavily involved. That's the one thing I'm going to take you off the hook on, and I haven't accepted that role up to this point either. But they will be available. Can you buy them online? I don't know. I'm not going to say the exacts on that, but we'll find that out, and we'll pass that along in the weeks to come. Scott, it's right here. High school football, what, a month away?
Yeah.
Gosh. God, I mean, is it 2 or 3 weeks earlier than what I remember it being when we were in school? It's so brutally hot the first 6 to 7 ball games of the season that it becomes part of what you got to prepare for. I remember the first couple of games every year, my mental was, when were the cramps going to hit? Could I count on them hitting before halftime, or am I going to be able to come back from them? And a lot of times the answer was no, and it was because your body's not prepared, and there's no way to get them prepared for what you're about to see with this heat.
Yeah, and I mean, you're right. This isn't just game 1 or 2. We'll be almost in October still, and I mean, it's still going to be low 90s.
Yes.
I mean, so it's the humidity in combination with the loss of fluid that you're having. You're going to experience those cramps. You see it every year. Coach Horn was he loved to make sure that his players knew how much he did not like to hear about the cramps. But it was something, obviously, that is understood and is going to take place. But very excited about this group for some reason. Speaking about Benjamin Russell, I think that similar to Auburn, you're in a situation where when the cards are stacked against you, typically they come out and surprise people. So I'm excited about the direction.
I think they got some solid players. I think they've got really good classes that are about to come through, and I think they got a coach that's no nonsense, and it's been what we've needed. And it's not knocking any other previous. I'm just hoping that this year, and wins and losses prove whether you're right or wrong. I talked about it the first part of the show. In today's world, a lot of people can get on a mic and talk culture and talk leadership and talk all the talk you want to talk, and then do they follow through with what they're preaching to you? And unfortunately, a lot of times the answer is no to that. And so proof will be in the pudding, and I do think the pieces are in place to be a very good year. And you can't ask for more here in Elliott City than to start a season off with Sylacauga and Central Clay. Could you lose both of them? Absolutely. But that's the fun part of football. I mean, my gosh, you want to have rivals. You want to have people that you look and you respect, but you're a competitor and you want to compete against them. And that's 2 great ones to start the season with 2 tremendous coaches and coaching staffs, and I'm looking forward to all of it. So we want to thank all of you, though, as we head into football season, for tuning in for 15-plus years on our Sports Blitz programming. We're not going anywhere. We're just getting started. So for Scott Hardy, I'm Randy Lee saying thanks for tuning in to the Saturday Sports Countdown.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world. Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Hi, John. You have messages.
Not now, phone. I'm driving.
You know you want to text your friends.
Texting and driving is illegal. No distractions, period. People die that way. Eating, putting on makeup.
Scroll through your music?
Nope.
Your girlfriend just texted. She's bored.
Sorry, not worth dying for.
Good call. She seems a little clingy.
Don't text your life goodbye. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Are you looking for something really good for lunch? Are you tired of the same old fast food? Well, go to Buck's. Get a meat and 2 sides or a meat and 3 sides for the best deal in town. Buck's always serves up the best food, including fried chicken, wings, hamburger steaks, catfish, shrimp, and yes, of course, the famous Buck Cheeseburger Basket. And Buck's has dinner specials too. So if it's your turn to cook dinner, Buck's will be glad to do it for you. We appreciate your business and look forward to serving you.
Whoever you are, wherever you race, hit the track like a champion. The YZ250F and the YZ450F Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions. Only from Yamaha.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.